What's up? When's the marriage? I don't know.
So you've been getting a lot of attention from Mr. Miracle, and rightfully so lately. And one of the things that I love about it, especially in the last couple of issues, is the relationship between Scott and Big Barda, because it's almost like you're giving him someone to help him deal with that trauma, and vice versa. Was that kind of something that you wanted to do in this story?
I mean, absolutely, and I think, there's two effects of that. Number one, Mr. Miracle is a love letter to Jack Kirby, and if you know anything about Kirby's life, his wife Roz was that for him. Kirby was a veteran who went through a combat veteran, and Roz helped him with that, and the basis of Barda is Roz, right? Like that's who Barda was. That's who Kirby created to be his wife, and also I'm not a very original writer. Like I just write what's sort of I know. And I happen to be like madly in love with my wife, and she sort of helped me get through all of my trauma. And so I'm just putting that in a comic, and hoping it'll help other people sort of see some of themselves in the whole thing. And my wife was yelling at me the other day because she's like, you're taking exactly what I say and putting it in a damn comic book. And I'm not seeing any of the paychecks. And I was like, oh, you have all the codes to the bank accounts. I don't have any paychecks. So I steal from my life, and I steal from my wife, is basically.
You meant. Oh, go ahead. Well, I was going to say, you mentioned in the panel about creating this upcoming Sanctuary comic, and I'm centering, dealing with trauma as, not just a sideline, but a really essential part of the story. How did that come about? Was that your idea? Was it someone else's idea, or? Dan DiDio, my boss, who doesn't get enough credit for all the good stuff he does. He came to me and said, I want to do something big, and I wanted to talk about sort of a big issue or something deep. I don't know, it was vague, and I wanted to write something about PTSD and sort of about that and its effect on things. And this was such an instant, easy idea. The idea that people who are living a life of trauma would be affected by that trauma, like that's not freaking rocket science. And the fact that people whose job it is, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, their sworn duty is to help people, would help people who've gone through trauma and build a center like this, build a crisis center for these people. It's one of the most logical things that exists. And so of course this would exist in DC. Of course Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman would get together to help superheroes who have been through this and to help themselves get through it. This wasn't creative. This was just understanding.
With your career, it seems a lot of the stuff that you write, I think almost everything touches upon trauma in some way.
Yeah, I really did.
Vision, Batman,
Omega
Mr. Miracle,
Man,
like everything is all has to do with it.
But there's some jokes.
Oh, you get the humor in there.
Yeah.
Is that something that you're purposely doing, or is it just more of a, like, this is what you know, this is what you're writing, and you're kind of mining from your own experiences?
I don't know.
That is a valid answer.
I'm sure someone once asked Neil Gaiman, like, dude, what's with the gods thing? And he gave like some incredibly wonderful answers that people stood up and cheered. You try to, when you're a stupid writer, you try to write about a lot of different things. You try to get in a lot of different people's heads, and you try to make everything about empathy, about sort of trying to understand someone else. It's the whole point of writing is to get into someone else's experience. And you try all of that stuff, and you just end up writing you. And I think that's sort of the magic of the experience is the attempt to get into someone else's head reveals who you are to your audience and allows them to connect with you. And if you try to do that directly, if you're like, I'm just going to write about myself, if I try to do it, I can't. But if I try to write about other people, this is a Virginia Woolf concept. Like Virginia Woolf famously, she said that a character reveals more about themselves by describing another character than about describing themselves. I think that's the way art works. By writing about Batman, I'm actually writing about me, but if I wrote about me, I couldn't sort of tell you about it. But by getting into Batman's head, you get into mine. I don't know, that's a weird answer.
It's a Neil Gaiman answer.
And Tom, that's it for this table. So you're handing over to Mitch.
That guy?
Yep.
He draws real well. You guys,
Yeah,
honestly,
could you describe him?
Everything you said but that.
guys, my scripts are like, well, they're in Vision. It's like 2 lines in each thing. He has most of the work.